Okay, Padah BeShalom nafshi mikravli ki berabim hayu imadi. V'kaisev Rabbeinu Azakim Balagula Vasimcha. This is a Yitzchak Kislev Maamar. It's the last Maamar that the Rebbe to date was Magia for Yitzchak. The Rebbe was Magia for the last Yitzchak Kislev Tavshinun Beis. So the Alter Rebbe Balagula Vasimcha writes regarding this pasuk, regarding his Yitzia, his liberation. Ukishakarisi b'Sefer Tehillim. When I read in Tehillim b'pasuk Padah BeShalom nafshi, in this pasuk, Kedem she'eschalti pasuk shel achrav, before I began the following pasuk, Yatsasi b'shalom me'avai yeshalom. I went out in peace from the Eibishter. So the Alter Rebbe connects his going out to freedom with the pasuk Padah BeShalom nafshi. Umuvan mizeh, from this we understand sheteichen hakasov shayechu legulas Rabbeinu Azaken. That the meaning of the pasuk, the explanation of the pasuk, ties in with the geula of the Alter Rebbe. And like we learned in the other Maamarim, it's also connected with the geula of the Mittler Rebbe, with the geula of the Friedrich Rebbe, with all the different geulas. We see how this connection with the pasuk Padah BeShalom nafshi. V'hinei geulas Rabbeinu Azaken hu inyan hafatzas hamayanis shel teiras achsidus. The idea of the geula of the Alter Rebbe was to enable the spreading the mayanis of Chassidus ad lechutza, until they should reach chutza, to reach the furthest points. Okiyadua, like we know, asher sibas hakitrug v'hamaiser lemata, the cause, the reason why down here in the physical plane there was an imprisonment of the Alter Rebbe, hayamitzad hashakla v'tarya lemaila, it was a result of questions that were raised in the higher realms. Regarding al derech hafatzas razei teira bizgalia, the Alter Rebbe was, so to speak, held to account because he was spreading Chassidus in a revealed way, bizgalia. V'ad sheyagia l'kol echad v'echad, to the point that Chassidus should reach every single person. So this was something that was challenged, and that challenge l'mayla resulted in the imprisonment down here. V'kasher haya psak din l'mayla.
Well, in order for the result was he ended up in prison. That means there must have been a court case. So the court case means he sort of lost and ended up in prison?
No. The prison was during the... When is someone in prison?
No, we're talking about Maamar.
Yeah. When is someone in prison?
When he's put into prison.
During the duration of his court case. Then depending on the outcome of the court case, either he stays in prison or he goes free. The final result was the Alter Rebbe was liberated, which showed that Lamaila, the final ruling of the court case, was that this has to continue. V'kasher haya psak din Lamaila. Therefore, when the ruling Lamaila was lahafitz razei teira, to continue to spread Chassidus, the secrets of Teira. V'adarabah, not only that, it should be b'yeser sa'is v'yeser ois mikimay shahaya kedem ha'maiser, that Alter Rebbe was told before he was liberated that not only should he continue, but he should increase in his spreading Chassidus, because this was the ruling l'mayla. When this was the ruling l'mayla, nisbatel b'meila hadin l'mata, so the din, the ordeal down here was also came to an end. V'yatza l'cheiros, and the Alter Rebbe was liberated. So we see that the Alter Rebbe's liberation was a direct result of the decision l'mayla that there should be continued and increased hafat samayanis chutza. And we said the Alter Rebbe said his liberation was connected with him saying the pasuk Padah BeShalom. The mizem move on from this we understand sheteichen hakasav Padah BeShalom nafshi, whatever explanation, the meaning, the content, the theme of this pasuk, shayech le'inyan hafatzas teiras achsidus, is connected with the spreading of Chassidus, because both the spreading of Chassidus and the pasuk Padah BeShalom were tied to the liberation of the Alter Rebbe. So we'll want in the Maamar to explain the pasuk and how the explanation of the pasuk ties to spreading Chassidus. V'hinei Amr Razal, Chazal say on this pasuk Padah BeShalom nafshi mikravli, that Amar HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Hashem said, Kol ha'esek b'Teira u'v'gemilas chasadim, everyone who involves himself with Teira and gemilas chasadim, u'mispalel l'matzibur, and davens with a minyan, Mailani olav, I consider it ki'ilu padani liu lebanim yibeinu meseilam, as if he liberated me, the Eibishter says, me Hashem, ubanai, and my children, the Yidden, from amongst the Goyim. The next ice will bring exactly how we arrive at that from this pasuk. But we see the pasuk is connected to the ruchnistic ideas of Teira, Aveda, Gemilas Chasadim. V'alpize yesh leimar, we said that the pasuk is connected to Hafatzas Hamayanis Chutza, Neisaf al Hashaychus de Hafatzas Teira Chassidus. Besides the connection that we discussed till now between spreading Chassidus l'teichen hakasav k'mei shul kipshute, the ein mikra yetzi midei pshute, to the literal meaning of the pasuk, ta liberation, ta p'tiya BeShalom, that a p'tiya BeShalom is connected to spreading Chassidus. He hafatzas teiras Chassidus, the idea of spreading Chassidus as shayachas, is connected also with the deeper meaning of the pasuk, with the deeper interpretation of the pasuk. Legam le'inyan ha'esek b'Teira v'gemilas chasadim mispal l'matzibur, to these three avedas that are hinted to in the pasuk of Teira, Aveda, Gemilas Chasadim. V'hinei pirush ha'pashut because of that, the simple meaning of the pasuk is asher berabim hayu imadi hu nesinas tam lepada BeShalom nafshi. It says ki, because berabim hayu imadi, the berabim hayu imadi, that there were many who were with me, is the reason why Padah BeShalom nafshi, why I deserved and I received this peaceful redemption. Meaning, David HaMelech was saying, there's a possibility of a p'tiyah that should come through a struggle, through a war, through a conflict. And this pasuk is thanking the Eibishter for, instead of that, giving a peaceful p'tiyah, a p'tiyah BeShalom. And the pasuk says, "V'atam al zeh shepada BeShalom nafshi," the cause and the reason why I received a p'tiyah BeShalom, David HaMelech says, why my liberation was peaceful, ki berab ma'yimadi, was because of berab ma'yimadi. That's the simple meaning of the pasuk. So therefore the Maamar is saying, if we want to explain this pasuk, we have to explain all these ideas. What's the Padah BeShalom, which we also had something about it in the last Maamar. What's the advantage of Padah BeShalom? Why is that better than a p'tiyah that comes through a struggle? And how is that brought about through Berab Mahu Imadi? But Tzarech Lahavin Mahu Inyan Padah BeShalom Dafka. What's this idea specifically of a p'tiyah that's happening in a peaceful manner? What's the advantage of that? V'ashaychos de Berab Mahu Imadi lePadah BeShalom. And what does it mean? Bepnimiyus Anyan and Berab Mahu Imadi, and that brings about the Padah BeShalom. V'hinei B'drashas Razal pasuk said, we just quoted the way Chazal learned from this pasuk the idea of Teira, Aveda, Gemilas Chasadim, and that's considered like bringing about a p'tiyah. So now we're going to say, how does this pasuk teach us? How is it contained in this pasuk? Oisek b'Teira b'Gemilas Chasadim mispal l'matzibur. The Drashas Razal pasuk zeh kol oisek b'Teira u'v'Gemilas Chasadim mispal l'matzibur chulum. Pirush Rashi says, how do we get it? Because it says Padah BeShalom. Padah BeShalom implies Oisek b'Teira, because Teira d'chsiv v'chol nesivei shalom. It says about Teira, all its pathways are shalom. So Teira is shalom. If it says Padah BeShalom, say Razal, this is referring to someone who's Oisek b'Teira. V'chein Gemilas Chasadim nami shalom. Gemilas Chasadim, doing kindness, the most literal sense, it brings to shalom, it brings to peace. So both Teira and Gemilas Chasadim are derived from the word shalom. That's why the pasuk is referring to someone Oisek b'Teira v'Gemilas Chasadim. U'mispala l'matzibur hu'inyan ki berab mahu imadi. And mispala l'matzibur, davening with a minyan, is learned from the words berab mahu imadi. K'de pirish Rashi sham, like Rashi says, how does this come from the words berab mahu imadi? Ki berab mahu imadi shespala lu'imi. that what it was David HaMelech saying in a simple sense, that I deserved, I earned this Padiyah through Berab Mayu Imadi. What does it mean? Many people were with me. Many people were davening together with me. So Berab Mayu Imadi contains the idea of davening with a rabbin, davening with a tzibur. So in the pasuk Padah BeShalom Nafshi Ki Berab Mayu Imadi, the words Padah BeShalom contain the idea in Chazal of Teira and Gemilas Chasadim. The words Berab Mayu Imadi contain Tefillah B'tzibur. V'hainu shegimel inyanim elu. These three different Avedas that are learned, derived from this pasuk, which are Teira, Gemilas Chasadim, and Tefillah B'tzibur, Mechalkam, the pasuk divides them according to Chazal's Rasha, Lebeis Chalukes, to two different categories. Teira, Gemilas Chasadim are both derived from the word, which means they're contained in the idea of BeShalom. Hu inyan BeShalom, they're implied with BeShalom. Tefillah B'tzibur, hu inyan ki berab mayu imadi. Tefillah B'tzibur is contained in the pasuk in the words berab mayu imadi. V'tzarech lahavin, we need to understand masha mechalek gimel inyanim elu l'shtei chalukes. Either they should each be a separate word, or they should all be included together. It's the three amudim, the three directions, the three Avedas of Teira, Aveda, Gemilas Chasadim, seem to be all part of the same grouping. Why are they grouped separately? Teira, Gemilas Chasadim, and Aveda, and Tefillah. Gam tzarech lahavin, another question about Chazal. They said anyone who's involved, who's occupied with Teira, Aveda, and Gemilas Chasadim is like he's bringing about a Padiyah. Padani li l'bane mi beinu meselam. Masha Amru Kala Esek, why does it speak about the person? That a person who involves himself in Teira, Gemilas Chasadim, and Aveda is bringing about the Padiyah. Shemedaber kan be'inyin ha'adam ha'esek b'Teira. It means we're discussing what's like a Padiyah, what brings about a redemption of Hashem, ha'esek, the person who learns Teira and does Gemilas Chasadim. V'loi be'inyin ha'Teira Gemilas Chasadim u'Tefillah B'tzibur Atzmam. Why doesn't it speak about Teira, Aveda, Gemilas Chasadim, Keloshen Hamurgo B'kama Mekemis? Usually, when we speak about the virtues, about the advantages of these three Avedas, we talk about Teira, Aveda, Gemilas Chasadim themselves. Like the Rabbi brings Kemai, Al Shleisha Devarim Ha'elam Eimed, Ala Teira V'al Aveda V'al Gemilas Chasadim. When we speak about how these are the three pillars of the world, we don't say a person who learns Teira holds up the world. We say Teira, Aveda, Gemilas Chasadim are the pillars of the world. So here too we could have said Teira, Aveda, Gemilas Chasadim are idea of liberation. V'lei kol ha'esek b'Teira, b'Aveda, v'Gemilas Chasadim maimid hu ha'seilam. V'loshen kan hu kol ha'esek. So it's a question on the wording. Why are we focusing on the person, not on the things, not on the Aveda? So this is all the preface, and the Maamar will right away go to the discussion of a concept in Chassidus. V'yuvan ze behaktim will understand this with another preface. Mashakasav, we say in a pasuk in Ashrei, and we're going to explain at length the Chassidus Shetayich, the meaning of Chassidus of this pasuk. We say it says, Yeducha Hashem kol masecha. Literally, Hashem, all of your creatures, all of your beings should praise you, Yeducha. V'chasidecha, and your chasidim, Yivarchucha, should bench you, should give you a bracha. V'isa b'zayar, says in the Zayar, V'chasidecha, Yivarchucha, your chasidim should give you a bracha. The Pirish, Yivarchucha, hu Yivarchucha, says the Zayar. Yivarchucha is made up of two words. Yivarchu, give a bracha, draw down. Ka, into kai, into the level of kai. Umevar admur me'eshab nishmasi yedin. B'Maamar Padah BeShalom Tafresh Ayin Hey, the Rebbe Rashab explains, what does it mean, Yivarchucha? They should make a bracha into kai. The kai hu malchus. Kai refers to Sfiras HaMalchus. In all the spheres, Malchus is the sphera that hides the other spheres and brings them down into Elomis, into beyond, to Bri Yitzira Asiyah. Therefore it's called Kai. In Nevuos, Zeh is always something that you could see. Zeh shows on Gilui. Zeh we say the lashon mara be'etzboi ve'imer zeh. Kai is like something, it's there, so it is. Something that's not in front of you. Malchus, which is Mailim, which is a Helam v'Hester, is referred to as Kai. Therefore, says the Rebbe Rashab, when it says in the Zayar that Yivarechucha is made up of the two words Yivarchu Kai, it means Yivarchu Kayu lahamshech gilui eir b'malchus. Chasidecha Yivarchucha is they bring down a bracha, a hamshacha, they draw down a eir into malchus, into Kai. V'nemar, who does this? Chasidecha Yivarchucha. We say in the pasuk, your chassidim bring about this hamshacha. The hamshacha zu hi bekaya chasidecha davka. The chassidim, that it can soon explain what is the unique avodah of chasidecha, of those who are referred to as chassidim, they're the ones who draw down a gilui eir into malchus. Now what's this gilui eir? We have to look at the rest of the pasuk. V'inyanhu, the idea that he explains over there, Tezeh shechasidecha yivarechucha, hu besmichas hu behemshech, liyeducha havaya kol masecha. The beginning of the pasuk that concludes chasidecha yivarechucha is yeducha havaya kol masecha. All of your beings should praise you. What are we drawing down? What are the chasidecha drawing down into malchus? This level about which we said yeducha havaya kol masecha, ki hamshacha b'malchus shal yidei chasidecha hi mimakim naila moed. This level that the chasidecha are drawing down into malchus is a very high level. If we give it a title, a label, it's Eirin Seif Shalamayla Mishtalshus, the level of Elikos that's above the world, that's above the whole gradual level to level of the world, of Ishtalshalos. High in Ishtalshalos, every single level has some explanation, some rationale. There's the Sviras, are compared to the Keiches of the person. There's Keser. They're all Mipsari, Echseleka, something that I can understand in some way from the Mashal, from Keiches Adam. Because it's Ishtalshalos, because by definition every level comes from the level above it, so if I know the lower level, then by extension I could have some understanding in what's higher. By extension in what's higher than that, it's all begeder hasaga. And then there's Eirin Seif Shalamayla Mishtalshlos. It's not part of this system, it's completely above it, there's no hasaga, there's no understanding in it. She'ein shayich be hasaga. Ella heida bilvad, there's only heida yeducha. So the Maamar is saying, what do we mean in the first half of the pasuk? Yeducha havaya kol masecha. All of your beings should be made to you, should acknowledge. Heida exists where there's no possibility of understanding. Every level of elikos, of ishtalshalos, there's some understanding. So someone who's a bigger maskil, someone who learns more chassidus, someone who has a better understanding, will understand. So one understands chachma, one understands bina. A higher creature, a higher being of the Eibishter understands a higher level of elikos. Where is there a level that kol masecha, that all your beings related only in a way of yeducha, only with acknowledgement. There's no understanding, there's no grasping, there's just acknowledgement. That's an Eirin Seif Shalamayla Mishtalshlos, that level of elikos where there is no understanding, there's only heidah. It's the level she'ein shayich behasaga ela heidah bilvad yeducha. From this level, the chasidecha, the chassidim are drawing it down. This level of elikos that's so high, nonetheless they bring it down into malchus. V'amshacha misham, the drawing down from such a high level where we said there's only the possibility of yeducha, ba'efen de bracha, and it's drawn down yivarchucha in a way of bracha. He bekaya chasidecha dafka. So the chasidecha, which soon we'll have to say what the avodah of chasidecha is, they're able to access, they're able to reach this high level of elikos that's completely above elames, and to bring it down to malchus, but not just to bring it down to malchus, to bring it down in a way that's referred to as bracha, yivarechucha. It's in a way of bracha. And in order to understand what's special about that, we're now going to explain what is the meaning, what's unique about a bracha, what's special about a hamshacha that's described as a bracha. Ubchtei lahavin, in order to understand, Geidel ha'ilui, the big advantage, the big virtue, the maila, the hamshacha be'efen de bracha, of drawing down in the way of bracha, yivarchucha, mehamakim shebehi haida, from this place of yiducha, which is Ein Safe, that's higher than Ishtalshalos. Maktim b'hamaimer, he first explains in that maimer of the Rebbe Rashab, hachiluk bein bracha letfila. What's explained often in Chassidus, that there's a difference between tefillah and bracha. Both a tefillah and a bracha are aimed to bring down certain ashpais into the world. And there's a basic distinction between them that's used to explain a number of ideas in Chassidus, like we'll see. It says, Shebechal echad mehem yesh maila legabe zulase. In bracha and tefillah, each one has something that the other doesn't have. Va'inyinu. The tefillah, he milmata l'mayla. The definition of tefillah is milmata l'mayla. We describe in Zayar that tefillah is the sula mutzav arza v'reisha magia shamayma. It's the ladder that's based arza on the earth, and it's climbing up the ladder. Tefillah is that the one who's davening is down below, and he's working to go to reach a high point in davening. The Hainu Sham Mispalel, the one who's davening, hu lemata, he's down here. He's asking from down below. Umevakesh, it's milmata l'mayla, the request, the aim, the asking of the davening is shiashpiu le'milmayla. When I'm davening, I'm asking from down here that Hashem should give me whatever it is that I'm davening for. Ubracha, in contrast to that, a bracha is the opposite. Hu milmayla lemata. The definition of a bracha is that the one who's giving the bracha is drawing down, is giving down. He's higher than whatever it is he's being mavrich. Shamevarich hu lemayla me'asheresh shemimenu nimshachas habracha. Someone who's able to give a bracha, that means that that person is already above the bracha, and he's from higher up. He's sending down, drawing down whatever this bracha is. So he draws it down. He's not trying to pull something down, he's sending something down. This is the reason why a bracha, a true bracha, is b'derech tzivui. A true bracha is not asking for something. A true bracha is giving, is commanding, is saying that it has to happen. Sometimes you go to a tzaddik, certain tzaddikim, for a bracha, and the tzaddik says, halavai, if only the Eibishter should help. That's not a bracha, that's a tefillah. A tzaddik who gives a bracha says, this has to happen. Tells you have to become better, you have to get wealth, whatever it is you're asking for. There's a bracha is b'derech tzivui. The kivan shamevarech hu lemayla mehasheresh shemimenu nimshachas habracha. The one who's truly able to give a bracha, the one who's truly capable, it means by definition he's standing in a position, he's in a place where he has control over this bracha. He has the power over this bracha, therefore he can instruct the bracha. He's commanding, he's not just wishing for it. Lachein b'koichei litzavis, he has the ability to command. And that's why bracha is not possible for everyone. Not everyone could give a bracha. A bracha could be only by someone who's on that level, that he has that power, he has that control. A bracha is only possible for someone who has that ability, that power. Kimei Avram Avinu, like we find by Avram, Sha'amar le'akadosh baruch hu habrachis nesunis lach, on the pasuk vehayei bracha. So Chazal say, Rashi brings it down, that the Eibishter said to Avram, you are given over the power of brachas. Why does he have to be given the power of brachas? Everyone could give a bracha. Someone could come to me, I could give them a bracha. Says Chassidus, that doesn't mean anything. A real bracha is only someone who's able to give a bracha. Someone who's on that level that he's higher up and he's able to draw down. Avram was able to give a bracha because he was given by Hashem this special power of brachas. Delay tefillah, and with this bracha differs from tefillah. Shekol echad yachal lispal. You don't have to be any special person. You don't have to have any distinction to be able to daven. Every single person could daven for whatever he needs. V'yiseirim is not only that, shekol echad nitztavel lispal. Every single person has a tzivui. Every yid has a mitzvah in the Torah. If we need something, we have to daven to the Eibishter for it. You don't have to have any special conditions, criteria to be able to daven. But a bracha, not everyone could give a bracha. Avraham Avinu got a promise and a gift from the Eibishter to be able to give brachas. And the reason for this difference is because that tefillah means I'm begging the Eibishter to give me something. Anyone could beg the Eibishter. I don't have to be standing on any level to ask milmata l'mayla, to ask from down below that Hashem should give me something. Whereas tefillah, ki b'chtei levarech, a bracha, in order to really give a bracha, tzarech ha-mevarech li, is the one who's giving the bracha has to be l'mayla, higher me'asheresh shemimenu nimshachas ha-bracha. He has to be higher than the root of the bracha. To be higher than the root of the bracha, not everyone can claim that. Therefore, the ones who could truly give a bracha, you have to go to a real tzaddik, to a Rebbe.
Where's the shortage? Where's the root?
So if someone wants a bracha, let's say for health down here comes from a godly force, that's the source of health, that's way up there. The one who's giving a bracha for health is because he's higher than that godly force that's the source of health in the world. And he's not begging Hashem to send it down, he's passing it down to you from up above. With this we understand the mail of a bracha, that a bracha, there's no ifs about it. There's no possibility that it's not going to happen. The one who's giving a bracha is way up there and he's just giving it to you.
He's not up there and he still gives you a bracha?
So that bracha is like Dvarim B'Teilim. Hashem could decide to give it to you just like by tefillah, but the bracha is meaningless. If someone who's not in that level, doesn't have the ability for brachas.
What if he's got a nefesh elokis?
Everyone has a nefesh elokis. What? Shouldn't be kala, because Hashem could listen to it and Hashem could take it as a tefillah. What? Yeah. Yeah, the Eibishter could decide to listen and give a bracha. That's not, but that doesn't have that certainty. What?
You still got to give a
You have to daven. Right? Right. Baruch Hashem is we're trying to draw down a lakus, because that's the keach. Hashem gave every Jew the keach to make bracha. So that's how I think. Every time we say Baruch Ata Hashem, we're drawing down you, Hashem, godliness into the world. Elokeinu, Melech HaElam, every bracha does that. But to draw down hashpois, health, wealth, all kinds of, what brachas are for, those brachas, we don't have the power to that. In Shemoneh Esrei, we say the Baruch Ata Hashem, that's really a tefillah. This is the advantage of a bracha. What's the mila then of tefillah? If a bracha is so great and seemingly so much greater than tefillah than davening, ומזה מובנת המיילה בברכה לגבי תפילה, דבתפילה by davening, שהיא בקשה שימשיכו את ההשפעה. Tefillah is a request. Ein vadas shetismalei abakasha. By davening, you have to daven. You could never have a certainty that your davening will be fulfilled. Ubibracha, whereas with a bracha, shehi b'derech tzivui, a bracha that the one who could give a bracha, he's commanding this to happen. Vaday shetumshech hashpa, with a bracha, there's a certainty that it's going to happen. That's why people went to the Rebbe. Sometimes they asked, I want a haftacha. So if the Rebbe chose, the Rebbe gave a haftacha. He didn't just hope for it. He didn't just wish for it. He said, this is going to happen. The Rebbe said it's going to happen, then it's going to happen. There's no possibility that it doesn't happen, except. So there's a ha'ara over here. Ha'ara 15. Efsher liyes ikov b'kabbalas hashpa mitzad ha'mizbarich. There's a possibility, even with a bracha, that the recipient shouldn't get it. We could block things. The hashpa milmaila, if it's a bracha, so the hashpa milmaila came down. But a person could choose not to let it in. She'enei keli lahabracha v'chayetzi bazeh, he could not make himself a keli for the bracha. Avalei b'hamshachas hashpa mitzad ha'mevarich. By a bracha, the bracha always came down. By a tefillah, sometimes they ask for something and the Eibishter, for his reasons, doesn't give it. If someone gave a bracha who's able to give a bracha, it's there. And therefore, it's all the more important that the recipient of the bracha should make sure that he's a keli, that hashpah that came down doesn't chas v'shalom get lost. There's a story once a chassid went to the Alter Rebbe. He was ill and he asked for a bracha for a refuah shlema. The Alter Rebbe advised him to go to a certain doctor. The Alter Rebbe named the doctor. And the doctor should give him a certain medicine. The Alter Rebbe told him which medicine. And he'll be fine. He went to the doctor, and the doctor gave him the medicine, and nothing happened. He went back to the Alter Rebbe. So the Alter Rebbe put his head down on his arm, and he said with a niggin, the Alter Rebbe used to speak with a niggin. He said, could I say that it wasn't that doctor? It was the doctor. You went to the doctor that I told you to go to. Could I say that it wasn't the medication? He did the medication that I prescribed. Elamai, so what went wrong, the Alter Rebbe said? This doctor did a serious avera. I think he said he lived with a Eishes Ish. So he became a blockage. He couldn't be anymore the pipeline through which the hashpah goes down. The hashpah was there, but it had there's no problem with the hashpah, no problem with the directives. There was a blockage in the middle and never reached the recipient. And it says there was a mashpia greinim. Because of this story, he said when he got a bracha from the Rebbe, so he went to a non-Jewish doctor. He said a doctor has less of a chance of becoming a blockage. And there's a story with the Rebbe. Someone went to the Rebbe, and as a messenger from a third person to ask for a bracha for something, and the Rebbe gave a bracha. And then the Rebbe said to the emissary, but you have to have emunah pshuta. You have to have pure faith. You're just a messenger. In order for the messenger, it's going through you, he's part of the pipeline. He has to make sure not to constitute a blockage in that case by lacking in emunah, because then the hashpah is there. It's stopped before it reaches the recipient. So this is all the mile of a bracha. By a bracha, there's no doubt, there's no question or possibility of the hashpah not happening, because it's there, because the one who's giving the bracha, that means he gave it to you. So you have it, you just have to be a recipient. V'amayla b'tfila legabe bracha hi b'hamshacha atzma. The mile of tefillah, the advantage of tefillah over bracha is in the hamshacha. The hamshacha sha'yidei tefillah hi nailis yeser. The hamshacha that comes down through tefillah is a higher hamshacha. The inyan habracha hu lahamshich mashik kfar nimsa b'hamakir. A bracha, even though the one who's giving the bracha is higher than the sheirosh of the bracha, but what he's giving through a bracha is only something that's there in the sheirosh. That means in higher elames, where there's the sheirosh of health, there's a source for health for this person. So this one who's on a level to give a bracha passes it down to you. He can reach it, he can access it, he gives it to the one who needs it. Or a source for livelihood, or a source for children, or whatever it is. If there's nothing there in the sheirosh, then him being on a level that's higher than the sheirosh doesn't help. He can pass down to you what's there. If there's nothing there, he can't pass it to you. That's the limitation of a bracha. Ve'inyan hatfila, whereas davening, he bakasha me'akadosh baruch hu, the person is requesting to the Eibishter. He's not limited by what's there. He's requesting from the Eibishter. The Eibishter can give him a brand new hashpah. Shegam be'im lo yeshna chas v'shalom hashpah gam be'hamakir. Even if this person is requesting, there's no source, there's no root for hashpah. It wasn't originally destined to be for him. Not only that, the possibility, the power of davening is even not only does it work if there's no source for his healing, even if there is a source for him to be sick, if milmaila the decree and the decision was that he should be sick, nevertheless he can daven that all that should be changed and there should be a whole brand new plan. Mikol makim tumshach lehashpa chadasha me'erin seif shalamayla mishtalshus. Tefillah is that he's nonetheless requesting for a whole new plan should come from Erin Seif Lamaila Mishtalshus higher than all of the Sharashim should be Nimshach, whatever it is that he's davening for. Okay,